Let's talk about a fraud calling herself a numerologist. You know, there's a lot of fraudulent behavior on Twitter. Broke people telling you how to get rich. People with large accounts who got there on pure charisma selling you books and content on how to do the same thing they do, yet they can't teach people how to have charisma, so it's not going to work for them. A lot of frauds on Twitter. But whether you believe in numerology or not is regardless. There's another fraud I want to dedicate this Twitter to. Her name is Allison. Hey Allison, how you doing? I know you're watching this video, you damn fraud. Anyways, this woman who's a numerologist likes to play matchmaker as well. She likes to give people readings on compatibility. The only problem is she has no credibility. And what I mean by credibility is not credibility as a numerologist, but in real life herself. Because you see, this woman has not been divorced not once, but twice. And she goes around selling other people matchmaking advice. If that's not fraudulent behavior, I don't know what is. So you've been divorced not once but twice. Obviously your numerology didn't work for yourself, and you're gonna sell other people matchmaking advice. Fraud. Now let's go even further with this particular woman. She's been a numerologist way before I have, but unfortunately she doesn't have 5% of the knowledge I have, which is honestly kind of pathetic. This woman who's been knowing numerology for 40 years, knowing 8 is the number of money. And I remember asking her on the phone about a decade ago, I'm like, Allison, 8's the number of money? She's like, yeah, of course it is, Gary. I'm like, well, how come you don't price your products in 8s? And this is a true story. All of a sudden, there's a pause for like 30 to 45 seconds. And she's like, wow, I never thought about that. That's her exact words. At that moment in time, that's when I stopped listening to any other person who called themselves a numerologist. And I was like, you know what? It's time to train people so I have people to talk to. And now that people to talk to is GG33. So this person who's been a numerologist knows 8 is the number of money. Saw Chinese start the Olympic Games on 8/8/2008 at exactly 8:08 p.m. By the way, 8/8/2008 adds up to 8. Knew 8 is the number of money, but never thought to apply her knowledge to everyday life. That's fraudulent behavior. It is what it is. So, listen, Allison, why don't we play a game? You're clearly not at my level. You want to talk about me missing the Warriors. How many times was I right, though? I bet daily the people who are my subscribers up a lot of cash, and you're still a broke fraud, and even your kids don't let you. Thank you. Better than the Lexus. Anyways, people complimenting me on the RV. Yes, I live in the RV. I know. Keep your fucking fantasies going on Twitter, man. I have this because I can afford this, you jackasses. Anyways, going back to the fraud, Allison. You have to understand that most people who are numerologists, 99.9% of them, don't actually know how to apply numerology to real everyday life. Reading people is easy. I can take any bum off the street and teach them how to do that within 2 weeks. That's easy. Actually applying in everyday life in the stock market and in relationships and sports betting, whatever, that takes real skill. And that is what separates me from everybody else. That is what separates GG33 from everyone else. Because I taught my students how to actually do stuff like that. It is what it is. Anyways, Allison, just a message to you. Listen, you had your chance to spread numerology to the world. You failed. You're absolute failure. Even your kids don't even believe in numerology. How the hell are you going to convince strangers? By the way, my marriage is nice and sound, going on 15 effing years. So, yeah, you're another failed prediction of yours, Allison. I'm still married. I got 2 kids, and we're doing fine, unlike you. So, why would I follow your example? You're a loser. You've always been a loser. And you know what the sad part is? I'll give her credit. Outside of GG33, she's one of the better numerologists. And that's the sad, fucked up part. That if it wasn't for me and my students, she'd be the numerologist out there. Oh yeah, I try to, man. Family first, always. Anyways, this video was dedicated to the fraud, Allison, who sells matchmaking advice, even though she's been divorced twice. I know, it's like a fat person selling, weight loss advice. Like a broke person selling you stuff on how to get rich. It just doesn't make sense. And that's how frauds operate. Anyways, this has been a GG33 production.